the concept of cash budget. Now, cash budget is usually just a summary of cash receipts and payments for a specified period of time. So a summary of what you received and a summary of what you paid in the terms of cash for a particular period of time under consideration. Now, the cash budget will be showing the opening cash balances. It also shows the receipts that were made during the period, the payments that were paid during the particular period. Then at the end of the day, the cash budget will also give you the closing cash balance at the end of the period under consideration. So a cash budget can be made at a personal level. You can also be able to do a cash budget for a business setup. Now we have a simple illustration to reinforce our understanding of cash budget. And this is Jimia Brothers, who have the following information regarding their business. Now this is the business. We have the estimated sales, which are 50,000 in December 2018, 55,000 in January 2019, and 60,000 in February 2019. Now all sales were made in cash. Now their estimated purchases are 20,000 in December 2018, 22,000 in January 2019, and 25,000 in February 2019. Now the payment for the purchases will be made after 1 month. So it means if the purchase was in December 2018, then it means the actual payment will occur in January 2019. Now the rent per month is 5,000. Salaries and other expenses payable in cash are expected to be 15,000 in December, 18,000 in January 2019, and 20,000 in February 2019. That is for salary. They expect to buy furniture worth 25,000 in cash payment in January 2019. The cash balance at present is 5,000 and their target cash balance is 8,000. So this means that the cash balance target is 8,000, but the cash balance at opening, that is opening cash balance for the moment, is 5,000. So required, prepare a cash budget for 3 months showing the surplus or deficit in relation to the minimum cash balance required. So they want the surplus or deficit in relation to the minimum cash balance required. The format is already there and they want it for 3 months. The 3 months will be from the month of December to February this is December 2018 to February 2019, I believe, given the information that we have here. Now, what is the opening cash balance? They said in note 6 that the balance at present is 5,000. So it means that the opening cash balance is 5,000. You just say 5,000. That is the opening cash balance. Then receipt from customers, that is sales, the receipt from customers. Additional information number 1, sales are 50 in December 2018, 55 in January 2019, and 60 in February 2019. So it means that sales in the month of December, all of which were in cash, here we have 50,000, and use equal sign, then 50,000, you can just write 50,000. January, 55,000. Then February, we have 60,000. February, 60,000. You can go ahead and get total receipts by using Alt equal. You sum the two, then drag across to get your total receipts during December, January, and February. Then we have payments. Onto the payments. Remember, these things have formulas. Alt equal to get the total. Now, payment for suppliers, that was in additional information number 2. Their estimated purchases are 20,000 in December 2018, 22,000 in January 2019, and 25,000 in February 2019. Now, the payment for the purchases will be made after 1 month. Outstanding on the account for purchases in 2018 November was 22,000. Now this 22,000 for November 2018 is the one that will be paid in December 2018 because they said payments for purchases are made after 1 month. So payment here will be equal sign 22,000, the one for November 2018. Now it should be 22,000. Then January, the one that will pay for January will be for December. Now the purchases for December were 20,000. Then the purchases for January will be paid for February. Now for January it was 25,000 or 22,000. 22,000. Now this 25,000 which was made for February on credit will be paid in March. And remember, the cash budget is not touching March. So this 25,000 will be left out. Rent. Now rent is 5,000 per month. So 5,000 per month. 5,000 per month. That is a constant. You can simply do equal sign. Then click on this. Enter. Because it's a constant, you drag across 5,000 throughout. Salaries and wages, additional information number 4. Salaries and wages and other expenses payable in cash are 15,000. So the first one is 15,000. Payable in December. Payable in January is 18,000. And payable in February is 20,000. So that is 20,000. So 15, 18, and 20. Now they are expected to buy furniture of 25 on cash, paid in January. So there's furniture here of 25 payable in January. Then get your total payments. Total payments, enter, drag across. So that is our total payments. Once you've gotten your total payments, get the closing cash balance. What is the closing cash balance? The closing cash balance will be equal sign 55 minus 42. 55 minus 42, enter, and this is 13,000. Get, prepare a cash budget for 3 months showing the surplus or deficit in relation to the minimum cash balance required. I think this should be here, surplus stroke deficit in relation to the minimum cash balance required. Now, if it is 13, the closing cash balance is 13, and the target is 8. What is the surplus? Equal sign 13,000 minus 8,000. So that is 13 minus 8, and the surplus is 5. Surplus is 5. Now, this should be dragged across. This formula here should be dragged across. Then this formula here should also be dragged across that way. But
can you repeat?
Simply drag this across and also drag this across. But don't forget that the closing cash balance here becomes the opening cash balance up there. So we have equal sign at the top, then click on the closing cash balance in December, becomes the opening cash balance. Then in February, you also drag across and it completes the question that way. That is what was required. Now on to the next one. We also have another one here. Go to the next worksheet, cash budget assignment. The next one reads, Autotech Enterprises Limited has given the following particulars for cash budgeting. There is months from August to December, sales, materials, wages, and overheads. Additional information. 10% of sales are on cash basis. Of the credit sales, 50% are collected the following months and the balance the subsequent months. Creditors for materials purchases give 2 months credit. Overheads are paid 1 month in arrears. Dividend of 1.5 will be paid in December. Machinery costing 10 million will be installed in September. Payment will be in monthly installment of 2 million per month for 5 months from October. Proceeds from the sale of old machinery will be received in October for 1 million. Income tax, that is advance of 5 million, will be paid in October. Opening cash balance on 1st October was 800,000. If the balance falls below 500,000, a short-term loan can be arranged at an interest rate of 18% per annum. Interest is payable monthly after the months of borrowing. So monthly after the months of borrowing required. Cash budget for 3 months ending December 2016. So we start with the workings. And the first one, working one will be sales or receipt from customers. We can talk about the receipt from customers. Now we have months, which is August. So the first one being August. Move it to October all the way to December. Can cut, paste here from August to December. Now start with the sales. The sales that were made. The first one is 20,000. The second one, 21,000. What is the sales for October? October sales are 23. Then November sales are 25. Then finally the December sales are 30. That is the December sales, 30. So these are sales. So once you have the sales, go to the analysis. 10% of sales are on cash. So 10% are on cash. So cash sales, 10%. 10%. So that will be equal sign 10%, log the 10% times, then click on 20,000, drag that across. 10% of sales are on cash basis. Go through this. Of the credit sales, 50% are collected the following months and the balance the subsequent months. So what we do there is that start by getting the credit sale. Now credit sale are 90%. You're going to get 90% of that. That will be equal sign. Remember it's 90%. 90%. Because if 10% are cash, then 90% are credit. That will be equal sign 90%. Lock it. 10 times. Click on the sales. Then drag across. So those are credit sales. Now, they said, of the credit sale, 50% are collected the following months and the balance the months after. So which means of this, we start with the first collection. First collection is 50%. Then second collection is also 50%. Second collection, that one is also 50%. Now here, of the remainder, 50% are collected the following month. So 50% are collected the following months. For August, you collect in September. So go to September and say equal sign, September. Click on the credit sale of 18,000. This is 18,000, which will be collected in September. times, then click on 50%, lock the 50%, lock the 50%, lock the 50%, so equal sign, click on the 50%, lock it, then multiply that times 18, enter, then this is what is dragged across. Drag this across. That moves all the way to January. January. So of the credit cell, which is 18, 18, 9, 20, that way, 50% will be collected after 1 month. Then the balance will be collected the subsequent months here. So now move to October. That will be equal sign. Again, 18, or we can start with 50%. Lock the 50% times, then click on this 18 again. That other balance will be collected after the subsequent months, which is in the second month. So this moves all the way to February. February. Total collection. Total collection during the budget period. Total collection during the budget period only. Now the budget period needed is 3 months ending December. So if they are ending in December, they begin in August. December, they begin in September or October. Ending December begins on October. So the 3 months are those ones. I want to highlight them. That is the 3 months they want. October, November, December. So you get the total collection here. And what you are collecting is cash sale. So you go for cash sale, cash. Then first collection, you also go for first collection. Then you also go for the second collection. That is what they need you to add only. That will be equal sign, the cash plus the first collection plus the second collection, enter, drag across. Working to payment to suppliers. Payment to suppliers. Again, pick the months as they are up there. August, enter, drag across. February maybe. Then purchases are under materials. So whatever you see there as materials, that is a material purchase. Material purchases. You can decide to use them as they are. So equal sign 10,200. The other one is equal sign 10,000. Equal sign 98. Equal sign 10. December is equal sign 10,800. So additional information number 2, creditors for materials purchases give 2 months credit. So they give 2 months credit. So that means they will be paid after 2 months, payment after 2 months. The one for August will be paid in October. So the one for August will be paid in October. So equal sign, the payment here is 10,200. The one for September will be paid in November. So equal sign, click on this. Then the one for October will be paid in December. So you click on the one for October here will be paid in December. Then the one for November will be paid in January. November will be paid in January. Then the one for February will be paid in, the one for December will be paid in February, like that. Now this was wrong. The one for November here, you can see it's wrong. It's not 10.0. So you change from the other side, it should be 10,000. 10,000 so that you correct this. It's supposed to be 10,000. Not 10.0, 10,000. Now the name of the company is Autotech. So we pick the Autotech Enterprises Limited. Autotech Enterprises Limited. Then cash budget. Cash budget for the 3 months ending December 2016. And this will be December. This will be November. Then this will be October. You start with the opening, cash balance, then receipts. Now, opening cash balance is number 8. Opening cash balance on October was 800. So this is 800,000. They talked of 800,000. 800,000. Equal sign, then 800,000. Receipts, we start with cash received from customers, the cash received from customers. Cash received from customers, equal sign, then go to your working, and pick the total collection from October here. Total collection from October, enter, drag across to December. Now, another receipt, number 5, this is a payment. Number 6, proceed from the sale of machinery of 1 million in October. Sale of machinery, 1 million in October. I think it should be truncated. These figures are truncated and I'm putting them in full. So this is 800. Use 800, then use 1000. Truncated. Truncated. Now, sale of machinery in October is 1000. Another proceed will be loan. There is loan here that will be borrowed. Short-term loan. Short-term loan will be borrowed only if the cash balance falls below 500,000. So far, we don't know if we have a loan there or not. So we proceed. Payment or total receipts. Total receipts. You will be adding everything at the top. Add everything, that is 22,550. Payment. Start with payment to suppliers. Equal sign and pick the payment above, the 10,200, the one that had been completed in our working. Drag across, payment to supplier. Other payments include, we have wages, and where are wages? Not mentioned, but I believe wages are paid monthly. So for October, the wages are given here, 3,800. For November, wages were 3,800 again. 3,800, that should be 3,800. I think it's wrong at the top. It's written 3.8. 3.8, so you can change at the top to read 3,800. It's written differently on the question sheet. Then the last one is 4,000. Now make sure you change this. We have picked the wrong one, so we'll be repicking again. It should be from October. Equal sign, wages are from October. October is 4,000. October is 4,000. November is 4,200. Then the last one is 4,500. That is correct. Overheads, we also have overheads. Now overheads, there's an information about overheads. They are paid 1 month in arrears. So overheads are paid 1 month in arrears. So the one for August was paid in September. The one for September is the one that was paid in October. So those are paid 1 month in arrears. So the one for October will be the one for September, 2,100. Then the one for November will be the one for October, 2,300. Then the one for December will be what was paid for November, what was put for November of 2,400. So they are paid 1 month in arrears as indicated here. Overheads are paid 1 month in arrears. After that, there is an item here for machinery, dividend. Dividend of 1,500 will be paid in December. So dividend paid in December. Dividend paid in December, 1,500. That is 1,500. December. Now from dividend, number 5, yes, again for that. So machinery, and they said that for machinery costing 10 will be installed in September. Payment will be made monthly installments in monthly installment of 2 million per month for 5 months from October. So 2 million from October. 2 million from October. Again, 2 million. Again, 2 million. Okay. That is for machinery. A proceed from the sale of the old machinery, that one was an income. Tax of 5 million will be paid in October. So tax paid in October, 5 million. That will be paid in October. Last part, opening cash balance on October was 800. We used that. If cash balance falls below 500, a short-term loan can be arranged at an interest rate of 18%. Interest is payable monthly after the months of borrowing. Monthly after the months. So if you borrow in October, you start paying interest in November. So interest on loan. So we wait to see if at all there will be any interest there. Total payment, alt equal, so that you can sum from the 10 to 100 here, all up to the interest part, then drag across. Closing cash balance, So the closing cash balance will be equal sign, total receipt minus total payment. Our answer 750. Now they said this is negative 750. If cash balance falls below 500, a short-term loan will be arranged at an interest rate of 18%. Interest is payable monthly after the months of borrowing. So how much will you borrow to take this back to 500? How much will you borrow to take this back to 500? So go to short-term loan, and the amount of short-term loan to be borrowed will be equal sign 750, I believe it will be 750 plus 500, so that you take it back to 500. That will be this 750. So no need of clicking on this unless, let's see if that can work. Then plus 500, enter. That cannot work because of circular cell referencing. It cannot work because of circular cell referencing. So what you do on short-term loan, just say equal sign 750 plus 500. So 750 plus 500. The first 750 takes it to 0, then the other 500 takes it to the minimum they wanted of 500. So that will give you 500 here now. So the short-term loan to be borrowed will be 1250. That is this 750 that was here plus 500 that they wanted as a minimum balance. Now, if this happens, if you borrow, unless there is a 1250, then now drag this. Okay, done. Then after that, let us pass the formulas across. The total receipt, drag across. Total receipt, drag across. Total payment was already dragged across. Even closing cash balance, you can drag across. But before you drag everything across, they also talked about interest. So if you borrow a loan, if a loan is taken, then the interest will be 18% per annum. Interest is payable monthly after the months of borrowing. So it means under the interest paid here, the first interest will be paid in November. That will be equal sign. In November, equal sign. Click on the loan of 1250. Loan of 1250 times, open bracket, 18%. Remember, 18% is per annum, but it's monthly. So that will be 18% divided by 12, so that you can convert the rate to a monthly rate. So that will be close bracket, then lock the 1250. You lock the 1250 that way. Lock the 1250 times 18% divided by 12, close bracket. Enter, then drag across to this. That will give you the monthly interest rates. Make sure that total receipts have been dragged across. Total payments have also been dragged across. Then the closing balance has also been dragged across. But don't forget that the closing balance becomes the opening balance. The closing balance for October is the opening balance for November. So the 500 moves up there. Then the closing for November becomes the opening for December. So the 42 moves up there. And then the question is completed. No loan is required for the months of November and for the months of December because the balance was above 500,000. The final one for the cash budget.